You're tuned in to Tackle Fanatics TV, and in this episode of TFTV, we take a look at Nash's urban Banx, London Park Lakes with Alfie Russell.
Hi, I'm Alfie. You join me here today on one of my local London Park Lakes. As you can see, it's a beautiful day. I've had a little walk around already and I've just seen some fish behind this hedge. So I'm going to set up a little rod and see if I can nick a quick bite before I have another walk around. Right, that's one rig in position now. I was a little bit hesitant when I put it out because there's actually quite a number of fish down there now and the bottom's a bit stirred up. A couple bubbles are popping up to the surface, so if one of them's hungry for that little pop-up, we should be in with a chance of nipping a fish quickly. So I'm going to see how it goes for now. I can see my hook bait, so I'm going to watch it, see if a shadow comes over it and picks it up. Well, I've got that little rod out, just plopped it a couple feet off the edge where I saw some fish. I'm looking now and a few of them have moved further down the bank. So yeah, I think I'm going to set up another little rod, maybe try a different bait on it this time. Maybe a little boilie or a little piece of baked corn. Rain. It's raining. Well, that's the setup I'm going to be using. 2 grains of mutant corn, just with a little split shot on a KD style rig, size 8 Fanatics, and a little bag of pellet and some fish meal ground bait, and a little 1.5 ounce to drop off lead. Well, it looks like after that little shower we had, the fish have been pushed a little bit further out than my margins, so I think I'm going to reel the rods in and go for a little stalk. As you can see, when I've retrieved this rig, there's loads of silkweed and dead leaves around the hook. That's why I opted for the little light lead and the longer hook link with the 2 bits of balanced corn, just so it sits and settles on any old rubbish that's lying on the lake bed. Well, I've just had a little walk and I've come to the other end of the lake now. Just in a little stalking hole now. Where the sun isn't up, I can't quite see any movement or any shapes of fish in the edge. But there is a couple out there sunning themselves. So I'm going to walk up a tiny bit more, see if I can see anything. But so far it's looking like there's a few fish in the area. Yeah, I'm going to trickle a little bit of bait in this edge and then come check it in an hour or so, see if any fish have visited the spot, and hopefully by then the sun would have moved, it would be on this spot, we could see clearly what's been going on. There's quite a few fish cruising around, so I think it's looking good. Just drop a few little baits in the edge where they've been fizzing, see if we can nick a bite. There's still fish in the area. Managed to get rigs in without spooking them. There's still a couple feeding, but they've pushed out just that little bit more. When I got it, quickly dropped singles on them as they was feeding, like the 2 grains of corn and the little pop up. I think just tied up a little bag. I think maybe that extra little bit of scent might just draw one closer to the hook bait, as they're grubbing on some of the naturals and sieving through all the silt and stuff, and they're gaining something from it, otherwise they wouldn't be eating it. But hopefully that little mouthful should be a little bit more attractive to them. One just rolled out there again. So let's get it out there. Well, I've been sat here for about an hour now. I was fishing little single hook baits, just dropping them in front of a couple feeding fish, but I didn't induce a bite, so I thought I'd throw a couple handfuls of pellet, hook a little bag on, and as soon as the pellet went in, the fish come in to the swim, started grubbing about and fizzing. Still I haven't had a bite yet. Don't know why. I've been sitting on my hands. But I've just rebaited the swim as there's bubbling and fizzing for about an hour, and I think it's looking good. The sun's gone down a bit, the temperature's dropped by a degree or 2, so it's just a matter of time. Perfect. What can I say? It was just a matter of time. Gave it a little while. The fish come back on the spot after that fresh baiting, and it's ripped off. Well, there's the proof. The beautiful old park plate common. Caught it in the edge on 2 pieces of Newton sweet corn. Lovely old fish. There's just something about these park lake fish that no other fish have. Every fish has its own little character and looks like it's got an own little story to him. Beautiful. After catching that little angry common, it's beat up my rig slightly, so I just got a new one out. I'm going to tie it on. Nailed it on the 2 little pieces of Newton corn. The lead ejected safely, so the setup works a treat. I'm going to get it out there while there's a few fish still milling about. See if we can nick another one quickly. Well, after catching that little common from the opposite bank, I've come for a walk. After catching it, I didn't see another fish, no movement, no bubbles, nothing. Come round here, sort of haven't seen nothing either. The light levels have dropped massively, so seeing them's quite hard. I can hear thunder in the distance, so I think I'm going to do a very quick lap of the lake and see if I can get settled down for the night. Well, I was planning on staying for the night, but the rain's torrential and it looks like it's setting into the morning. I'm gonna call it a day, but you never know, there's always tomorrow.
Many thanks for tuning into this episode of Tackle Fanatics TV. Tackle Fanatics stock a huge range of Nash products at the best prices around. To view our selection, log on to www.tacklefanatics.co.uk. For the best prices in the UK, call us on 0208 949 3307. Tight lines and wet nets from everybody at TFTV.